What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Cook with Ron. Today we're going to do a Blackstone favorite, which is cheesesteaks. This is not actually Philly cheesesteaks. I know people get a little bit upset when you say Philly cheesesteaks. It's not the traditional Philly style, but it's my version of the Philly cheesesteak. So right now, if you see my other videos, I got everything prepared ahead of time. I got my meat. This is actually not pre-sliced ribeye, which a lot of people use. This is actually a restaurant grade that I get from Restaurant Depot. If you're from the New York, New Jersey area and you have Restaurant Depots or Jetros in your area, it's called Philadelphia's Finest. And it's kind of like preformed slices of steak. And it's kind of like a Steak Umms, but it's a little bit better quality. It's like a restaurant quality style. You can see it actually looks a lot better than the traditional Steak Umms do. So that's that. Then we got our peppers, onions, mushrooms, some cooking oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, of course, Cheese Whiz. I have two cheeses. I got American, I have provolone. And then we have some hoagie rolls. So I'm going to get the Blackstone all cleaned up and we're going to get started. Okay, I gave the Blackstone a quick wipe down. I'm going to throw down some oil. And first I'm going to sweat down the vegetables. So we got our onions. Throw a little bit more oil down. Peppers. Get all of that. And mushrooms. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of pepper, some salt to help it sweat down a little bit, and a little bit of garlic powder. This is optional. I like to put garlic powder on almost everything. And we start cooking these down. Spread them out a little bit. So we're gonna just sweat these down a little bit. I'll be back in a couple minutes. This will take about, I'd say, 5 minutes or so. I don't want to bore you with the process, but you basically just move around a little bit, let that kind of get incorporated a little bit with the oil and the spices. And once they start getting kind of translucent, we'll put them off to the side and we'll start the actual cheesesteak making process. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys, so I sweated them down. I'm gonna take them off now. See, I'm not cooking them all the way through. I'm just kind of getting them kind of translucent. So because when I add it to the cheesesteak, I'm gonna cook it more with the cheesesteak. So I don't want to get it totally wilted here. So this is about the level that I like to get them done at. So the peppers could go a little bit longer because I don't want them to be crunchy in there. But the onions and mushrooms I'm gonna pull off now. Sorry, I pressed stop for a second. Don't know why I did that, but. So they're not totally like softened. They have a little bit of bite to them still, but once they cook down with the cheesesteaks, they'll be a little bit more, you could say, well done. So same thing with the mushrooms. I'm gonna pull them off now. And I'm gonna let the green peppers go for a little bit longer because they're still a little bit too al dente for my taste. Because yes, they will cook a little bit longer with the cheesesteaks, but these kind of take a little bit, longer to get kind of softer. So I'm gonna let these go for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes. The onions and the onions and mushrooms probably went for about 5 minutes. And this is on like a medium-high heat. Actually, no, sorry, this is on a high heat. So yeah, so it does take a little time. The peppers, maybe another minute, and then I'll pull these off. Okay, I'll let the peppers go for about another minute. So I'm gonna start pulling them off now. And then now we're gonna start the cheesesteaks. So be back in a second. Okay, I'm gonna put the fire down to about a medium. This is a medium fire. I'm gonna put some oil down and spread that out on the griddle. Just kind of give that a kind of like a little swirl there. Just kind of get all even. Okay, just like that. Now I just turned down the flame, so it's still kind of on the high side, but once I put the meat down, it'll come down to about a medium heat, and I'll keep it at that stage. So I have my pucks here. These are those Philadelphia Finest pucks. They're about 5 ounces each. So I'm just gonna put them straight away like that. Now these did come out of the freezer, but you'll see they cook very fast. So I'm going to season them up, salt, pepper, garlic powder. Here's the pepper. I go heavy on the pepper. Here's salt. And last, garlic powder. So it doesn't need to be even, super even, because this is all going to get chopped up and combined anyway. So I'm going to let these go for a few minutes. You see the kind of the water starting to come off of them. Going to let it go for a few, and I'll be back in about, let's say, 2 minutes. Okay, so it's been about a minute. I did want to mention, I'm going to give them a flip. Now these are sliced. These are stacks of like maybe 3 or 4 slices of meat. So it's not like one big slab of meat. But once I flip it, then I'm going to start letting it cook for another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to start breaking them apart. I'm going to separate the slices out, kind of pile them up, and kind of cook it that way. So for now, you'll see what I mean. See, I'm just flipping it. It got a little bit of a crust on it, which is good, but we're not cooking it super fast. We're kind of like, this is on a medium heat. I might even put the heat a little bit lower, because this is actually a little bit too fast even for my taste. But you see, it's actually, it looks like a slab of meat, but it's not. It's actually sliced. Oop. That one got a little bit messed up, but we could fix that. There you go. There you go. You can actually kind of see the slices there. You see, if I go closely, you can kind of see it. But I'm going to let it go for a little bit longer. Fix that one a little bit. There, flatten that out. I'm going to let them go for a little longer, and then you'll start. Then I'll start breaking them up and separating them out, all the slices, and then combining everything and cooking it that way. Okay, guys. So it's been going for about another minute on the other side. So here comes the fun part. I'm going to start chopping these up, combining them, and making separate piles to make our cheesesteak. So if you see in those NYC bodegas, or like even like, you know, even in Jersey, you'll see these guys chopping up, breaking them up, and you'll see a lot of noise. You'll hear a lot of this. You know, I guess the more obnoxious you could sound, the louder you could sound, the better. But I'm gonna chop them up and separate them a little bit. You can start seeing those slices kind of separating out. Hope my phone doesn't fall down with this process. But here you go. So that's essentially the idea. And we're gonna kind of break these up into pieces and start making our cheesesteaks. Okay, so now chop them up a little bit more fine. That's what when I say about the seasoning, it didn't really matter how even you put the seasoning down because it's all going to get mixed up anyway. I'm going to mix some of that grease back in there. I'm going to lose all that. Also, it gives that nice, juicy kind of flavor to it. You don't want to lose all that juice. Some of it will come off into that grease trap, and that's fine. But a lot of it I want to kind of keep within the meat. Okay. So that's good. I'm making these 8 packs. It was 10 ounces each pack. I'm going to make 3 cheesesteaks with them on those hoagie rolls. So now what I'll do is let this go for another maybe minute, and I'll separate them into 3 different piles, add the cheese and the veggies. Okay, before I forget, I do add some cheese to the meat and have that mixed in. So what I'm going to use for that is the provolone. I'm going to have it mix and incorporate with the meat. So I have a few slices of provolone that I want to kind of throw in there. These are thin sliced. They're going to melt pretty fast. Again, this is something that I like doing. It is a cheesesteak after all, so you want to put some cheese on it. And these are thin sliced. It'll melt nicely with the meat. I'll mix it up, and then I'll use the American and cheese whiz on the buns. I'll use the cheese whiz on the buns and the American on top of the meat when I make my piles. Kind of flip the meat over onto the cheese. It'll kind of steam on its own. Trust me, this works. Doesn't look great, not right now, but trust me, it's going to be great once you have it. It's really good. And it's a cheesesteak after all, so don't be afraid of it, of adding as much cheese as you want. So I'm gonna make 4 actually. I forgot my wife doesn't really like that much meat in hers. So me My father-in-law really like it a little bit on the meaty side, so these two will be ours. Maybe there. That should be pretty decent. I'm gonna add the veggies and the cheese. So this is somebody who doesn't like too many onions, and I and my father-in-law like a lot of onions. And my wife doesn't like too many onions either. So she likes a lot of peppers. My mother-in-law likes peppers. My father-in-law likes peppers. I don't like that many peppers. And then we got mushrooms. Mushrooms here. And my wife likes a lot of mushrooms. Okay. On the buns, we put a smear of Cheese Whiz. Okay? So the buns get a smear of Cheese Whiz. I microwaved them before, but it's got hardened again, but it's fine. Let the buns steam a little bit. I'm going to add the American cheese on top, and then we'll pull them off. Just going to show you real quick. I put how they put the American cheese on it. Wish I was a little bit more prepared, but that's essentially what I do. And then we put the bun back on top, just like that. So I'll do that for all of them, and we'll get back to you. Okay, real quick, just wanted to show you how they look. Some got 3 slices of cheese. Some got 2. My wife's only got 1. She doesn't like too much cheese on hers. So I'm going to pull these off. They've been steaming for about another, I would say, 3-4 minutes. I'll pull them off, and I'll show you how they look like. You want that caramelization on the meat, right? It was sitting upside down. The cheese is on the other side and the veggies are on the other side, but the meat on this side kind of got that Maillard reaction on it. So it's going to be a nice taste to it. That was a blooper. All right, anyway, I'm gonna pull these off so I don't break my phone. This is how they look pulled off. So this one has had a little bit more of that crisp on the bottom, and these two has a more steamed effect to it. But you get the idea. Okay, so this is how it looks, final product. You could drizzle some Cheese Whiz over it, some melted Cheese Whiz over it if you want. It's optional. There is cheese on the other side. And there's also cheese melted in with the meat. So I'm going to cut into these and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so this is how it looks in better lighting. So I'm going to cut into this one and show you guys how it looks on the inside. That's the cross section. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you think there's anything I did wrong, please comment below and we'll take your feedback as we always do. Thanks again. Bye.